Hey everyone, welcome to another technical stream for this Global Hack Week for APIs. I know you've seen a lot of me recently on during this day. I know it's also during the weekend, but that's no excuse to deliver another super cool session today. Hey there, very happy to see you as well. So during the past streams, we've done kind of like more explanatory sessions and technical explanations. And now on this stream, we will actually be doing plenty of code, and we will be seeing a lot of concepts that we have learned so far. And don't worry if you're a beginner, I will also explain it how to do it like from the scratch. No, not right now. But hopefully on some other global hack weeks, I will also volunteer myself to run the Wikipedia races. As honestly, I like that game. I would for sure play that game like with my friends because it's fun to do, and especially using like that like the game link that I share with you all during the mini games hangout. It is a really cool page to get started. So as I mentioned today, we are going to be diving into a project that we will be building, and this project is going to be basically using a computer vision API in order to classify images, generate descriptions, point at objects, and so on. And for that, we will be using the Moondream API. So not only we're going to understand what computer vision and APIs are, but we're also going to build our own and first dashboard using a Python tool called Streamlit, and we're also going to deploy that as well. Yes, I'm excited as well to see if we all get to finish this project, and it will be super cool because you will have another project that you can use on your portfolio. So, looking forward on that as well. Great. So, I'm just going to give a super brief intro into the things that we will be seeing today in case you are new or you are just getting started with all of the tools that I just mentioned. There's no need for you to know anything that I just talked about. It's just I'm just laying down what we're basically going to be covering today. So my name is Jocelyn, and I'm a coach here at Major League Hacking. I was also a previous fellow, um, and I will soon be in the fellowship as well. So some of my fun facts is that I collect bee plushies, especially the Minecraft ones. And just before the stream, I was kind of bored, and I asked ChatGPT to generate an image, well, a wallpaper image of Minecraft bees. And let me actually show you. It was not that bad. I mean, I remember image generation a while back, and it was like super lame. And now it's just like super amazing. Like, check this. Oh, I mean, I don't think I can put it like so on, but I mean, I like it. I don't know if I will use that as wallpaper because it looks kind of like fake, but still it's nice. So yes, I collect those, and I like mechanical keyboards. I study robotics, so that's also a nice thing that you can ask me about. So I am a lot into how do you call it, low level code and hardware. That's also something that I like. So yes, actually this stream on the tool, like the API that we are going to be using, I actually use that on my robotics team to detect persons and to detect some different objects and beverage positions on a table. So it actually has like real life case scenarios, and I can explain more about that as we move on because we have a lot to get through. So for today, we have a really packed agenda because there's so many things that we need to do in just a one part stream. So this is only part, like this only part that will be happening for this stream. I know sometimes I do like part one or part two or even like part three, but this one will only be like single technical stream. So we will learn first about computer vision and a bit about how image classification work. I will not overwhelm you with a lot of technical concepts. I will just tell you like the tools that there are out there and how to actually use them, then understand what it takes to actually use these models or like train these models that are out there and how complex they are. Then we're going to have a brief recap about what an API is in case we have some beginner hackers over here. And after that, we're going to start using our Moondream API. So the Moondream API, it's the one that we will be focusing at least half of the stream. And by the end of this session, we will actually have a nice Streamlit dashboard that we were going to be deploying that uses Python and uses the Moondream API. So first, we're going to basically just build like a Python script that will be kind of like our library, and then we will be setting up that into a Streamlit dashboard. So again, there's no need for you to know all of these technologies. I will be doing everything from scratch. And keeping in mind that we will only be literally needing like 2 Python scripts. It will be like super easy to set up, and then you will understand why, um, how easy it is to use like this set of tools. Great. So without further ado, let's get started with a little bit about computer vision. So computer vision is just basically a branch of AI. So it is kind of like directly related because there's a lot of like deep learning in there, because deep learning is just kind of like a branch of AI as well. And computer vision is used in industries very broadly. So just as simple as object detection, you can also detect like faults in like a system, or it's also used like for example for autonomous vehicles, or to detect like specific things in an image related to healthcare, and so on. So there are like tons of applications that can be used for computer vision, and kind of like the main purpose of this is to replicate and understand the visual data, just like a person, regular person will do. So what we're doing here, and why do we say that it is a branch of AI? It is because we are trying to replicate what the human eye is seeing. So for example, me as a person, I'm seeing and interacting with my world. And for example, I know that this is like a Minecraft bee, but like a machine perhaps doesn't know that. And then there's that's where the training process comes in, where we have to actually train our algorithm to let it know that this is going to be a Minecraft bee with many parameters. So perhaps we can take that it is a rectangular shape and it is of color yellow, and I can say that for the computer that will be basically a Minecraft bee. But perhaps if me as a person I see like another yellow rectangle, I would not say like, oh, that's a Minecraft bee. No. So that's why it is a long process to train your own model and to actually let your model know to classify correctly. And there's a lot of process that goes in between the procedure and the result to actually let your AI or your model know that is like a Minecraft bee. And I just placed like some images about like object classification in crosswalk. So in there you can see like the different like bounding boxes that are detecting like different objects. So some of the key tasks or examples that are used in between the computer vision field. The first one is image classification, as I already mentioned. So you either detect on an image if the image represents like, I don't know, like a salad, like a pizza, a cat or dog, whatever thing that you want to classify inside an image. But that image is just like an image that you're passing on, and for detecting that image, a moment, because okay, I think we are back. I think it lagged for a while, but I was going on with the first one, that is image classification. Then the second one will be object detection, which is kind of like the most common one. So that is just basically related to detecting objects in our real world and outputting these objects with bounding boxes. So the bounding boxes are just basically like the boxes that you see around the object. And that bounding box is basically painted using like X and Y coordinates. So you're telling it like, oh, like my x and y coordinate is this one, and then my other x y and coordinate is this one, and then you draw the box. And that's how you basically detect an object once it was identified. Then a third example will be for pose estimation. So this is actually another common example. If you want to detect like the position of a human, like whether I am sitting down, I am standing, I am running, or I am like doing a sit up, and so on. So it is to detect poses. I don't know, perhaps someone wants to identify how many persons are sitting down on chairs. So for that, you can basically use object detection to detect chairs. Then you can use object detection again to detect persons. And then you can use pose estimation to know the position of the person. And then you can do like several filters for your algorithm, telling it like, oh, if I detect a person on a chair and the pose is sitting down, then I have completed like the task. So you can combine all of these applications as well. And the final one might be like facial recognition, and that's just to differentiate between different individuals. So for example, you want your algorithm to detect like persons, but then how do you know this is person one and this is person two? Then you might want to use facial recognition or some sort of IDs, so you don't mix up the same person again. And when that person shows up into the picture, then you know that person is like person number 304 and so on. Also, do we need to download anything? No, there's no need to download anything right now. I mean, if you don't have Python installed, we will be using Python, and we're also going to be using VS Code. Um, but it can be any code editor of your choice as well. You can even use like Replit or those environments that allow you to code without having anything downloaded. And all of the libraries that we will be using, I will tell you how to install them in a while. Awesome. So here's just like a direct example about image classification and object detection. We have another question. Should we be coding with you today? Yes, we will be building our own project. So we will actually be coding today as well. So this is just an example about the difference between classifying an image and then classifying or doing like object detection. So in this image over here, you have like the object detection. So we detected like the different persons, but then we actually want to detect who is person number one, person two, and person three, and so on. And that is basically called instance segmentation, because you're actually identifying between three different types of persons for us to say. And it is the same over here. We have our classification of a cat, but then we also want to differentiate between a cat, a dog, and a dog as well. So that's just how it looks like to replicate computer vision techniques and key takeaways as well. So some of the common tools used in computer vision, the first one is OpenCV, which is used for real-time computer vision classification. So if you want to classify an image and you want to apply different filters to the image, so you can detect like different shapes or like different patterns in an image, you might want to use OpenCV, because it is a nice built-in library that you can use to achieve that goal as well. Then we have TensorFlow, and that is just basically for deep learning purposes. It is kind of like more complex to do, but it is also there in case you want to learn a little bit more about that as well. Then one of my favorite ones, we have YOLO, which is basically the definition for you only look once. That's what the word basically means. And this is just a toolbox for object detection. So they actually have a lot of models and a lot of things that you can do in order to detect like different objects. And it is just like a lot and a really vast majority of things that you can do with that toolbox as well. There's also another thing called Hugging Face. Keep in mind, Hugging Face is not only used for computer vision. You can also use it like for LLMs or like for tons of like open source models. And this is just kind of like a hub where you will download some pre-trained vision models in case you don't want to train them for yourself, because that will be like super tiring. Then you will be using Hugging Face over there. What else? So yes, keep in mind that, for example, if you use like a pre-trained model, then there is no need for you to actually do the training of that model. You can only do like a super easy setup and get it working on like on your computer. But if you were to actually develop your own computer vision model, then you have to take like tons of pictures in order to train your model. That, I don't know, like this wolf is like it's like a Minecraft wolf and not like something else. Awesome. So I think we've covered what computer vision is kind of like in a nutshell, because I know I went a little bit too fast, but I hope the concept of what computer vision is and all of the tools that you can use and all of the super cool use cases that you can actually apply computer vision to are kind of clear. Again, if you have any questions, please don't forget to ask me while I'm on the stream or even afterwards if you feel more comfortable over there. I think I didn't mention these at the beginning, but please don't forget to checking into this stream. This is a way for you to get swag once you accumulate the amount of points that are needed to earn swag. And you will be receiving those instructions via email once you check in into the stream. Awesome. So great. So let's move on to now about what is Moondream and especially Moondream's API. So Moondream is basically it's related to computer vision, yes, and it is open source, and that is also super cool. And it is a visual language model. So it basically understands the images that you upload and using a text prompt. So it's kind of like an LLM, but like for computer vision. And there's no training needed, just a model and a prompt. So you only like select the Moondream model that you want to use and you start writing your prompts, and the model will super fast like identify what it's looking for. So keep in mind that this is just like a super easy implementation of like a computer vision through a visual language model. If you actually want to use like a more complex computer vision pipeline, then there's a little bit more of things and technical concepts to understand. But I would say Moondream is just like the perfect place to get started if you are just new to computer vision. So all of the concepts out there actually don't overwhelm you, and yeah, and as well. So yes, there are several tools that you can use inside the Moondream suite. So the first one is that you have visual question answering, and there is, for example, if you upload an image, then you can actually ask the image things, like, I don't know, like how many persons are on the image, or can you identify like several things on the image. Then we also have image captioning, and image captioning is just basically generate a description of the image. So I pasted this example in here that it's actually on the Moondream documentation, and this is the image and this is the caption, and you can actually select like how large you want your caption to be. Then the most famous one is object detection with bounding boxes, because you actually upload your image and then ask for the object that you want to identify, and it actually returns you like X and Y coordinates about where your object is located. Then there's also gaze detection. So gaze detection is basically if I'm looking like at a specific direction, the model will actually tell me where am I looking towards to. Finally, there's document and text understanding. So you can also upload like an image of a textbook or of like a newspaper or something, and it will actually translate that text into like actual computer text. And it is very easy, like specifically if you are a fan of handwritten notes and then you want to pass on those notes into like a Google Docs or like something, then Moondream can actually help you with that as well. Hello, everyone. I just joined. Did I miss anything? I would say no. I mean, we just basically explained what computer vision is, some of the most common tools, and now we are just getting started with Moondream, which is the API that we will be using today. Awesome. So this is actually a direct comparison between a tool like Moondream, which is the Moondream API, and some other traditional tools like OpenCV, YOLO, and so on, which are the ones that we explained earlier. So why is it important to know the difference between those? Because Moondream is not everything that there is to know about computer vision. Moondream just basically like wraps up everything in a super simple format, but it's not very customizable and it is not the recommended if you are building like super specific end-to-end applications. So some cases that you might want to use Moondream if you need natural language descriptions of images, if you want to interact via an AI assistant that reasons about images and so on. And then you might want to use traditional OpenCV tools or YOLO models if you need high precision or if you actually need like real-time processing or like video surveillance, like for example with YOLO, or if you're actually working with like low-level image processing, for example, filters, or like to segment the image or identify like different types of layers that are on your image and so on. So yes, depending on how complex your application will be is depending on the tool that you want to use. So for example, if you only want to generate like descriptions of images, or if you only want to detect like I don't know cats like on images, then you might want to use Moondream because it's like easier to get started and you will be saving so much time rather than just training a model that perhaps won't even be that good, because sometimes you just train them for so long and then they end not being like so good. So it's better to save some time and actually implement something that we know that will be successful. So in comparison to like traditional tools like YOLO, for example, those you want to use them when you are building like a high end precision application. So, for example, for autonomous cars or for like medical images and so on, then you will need like more high precision rather than just relying like on an AI model. And I think that's just kind of like the standard for everything. So recently, with what's been going on with AI and so on, you know. But yes, it's just like a nice comparison between both of them. So before we actually go and see Moondream's documentation, I want to first explain super briefly what's an API. And I know I've been mentioning this a lot, but that's just to make sure that everyone that's on the stream knows what an API is. I know that for some of us it's like, oh, like API. Well, we actually know, we all know what is that. We'll know. Sometimes this is a concept that it's new to some people, so that's why I always like to make my streams like super beginner friendly. So an API is it stands for Application Programming Interface. And what an API does is that it allows software applications to communicate and share data with each other. So if you want to communicate between two ends, you will use an API to actually communicate in between them. Then I have this image that I always like to share with you all when I'm talking about APIs because I enjoy these so much. So an API just basically follows a three-step process. So you make a request to your API, which is initiated by your user or your client, which in this case is our honeycomb over here. Then we receive that request and process it. And in this case, the bee is saying like, hey, we need more nectar to make our honey. And the nectar will be basically be the data, and the honey will be our application. So then the receiver bee goes along into the flower and gathers the pollen or the nectar, which in this case is the data, and then goes back. And the third step will be to actually receive our response. And the response is just basically what we want to deliver to our user or to our client, which will be, in this case, the data. And the data is usually formatted into JSON format, as you are seeing over here. So again, this is a three-step process. We are requesting for information and we are getting a response. So in a while, you will be seeing how this actually works on an API like Moondream, which is actually a super easy API for beginners as well. And that's all you need to know. Just like It's a request response method. Again, if you want to learn more about APIs, I had a stream like about 3 hours ago that covered some of the most famous API protocols and types of APIs that are out there. And that was actually like a super technical stream where I got really into depth with the architectures of some of the most famous API protocols. Awesome. So to continue now, we will actually start building our project. And the first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to go over into Moondream's code documentation to run some basic examples on our terminal. And we will also use their building playground in order to see the capabilities of Moondream. Then after that, we are going to integrate that Moondream library into our dashboard using Streamlit. And finally, if we hopefully have time, we will be deploying our application into the Streamlit cloud so you can actually share that app with your friends and family, or just post it on LinkedIn and say like, hey, this is a cool project that I just built over the weekend at Global Hack Week. And you can tag us in there as well. Great. So yeah, I actually like when you all tag me on your LinkedIn posts, like when you learn something new. I love seeing that because I love seeing like how impactful some hackathons or like some sessions during Global Hack Weeks can be like for some people. And I remember when I was before becoming an MLH coach, I was like a hacker, just like all of you. I'm still a hacker. Like I still go to hackathons, just like I cannot be related to like MLH challenges for obvious reasons. But yes, I also enjoy going to hackathons because I'm still in university, so I don't want to lose those opportunities just because I'm being a coach here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to share you the link of the GitHub repository. So something that I always like to do, and let me actually share my screen so now we can go into the coding part. Just give me a second to prepare this. So as I was mentioning, something that I always like to do is to actually like give you like a code repository where I will be uploading like all of the code that we are doing like during the session. And that's just so we can get like more familiarized with what we're doing. And on the GitHub repository, you will also find like all of the links the helpful links that I've been sharing throughout the stream, and also the recordings once they're up in YouTube. So let me just open a new tab over here. Awesome. So let me go over and share that GitHub repository with you. Just let me go over there super quick. Now I have like 100 repositories. This is actually the number 100. Oh my god, that's so... You are lucky to be the repository number 100 on my profile. And I would say that's just because on every stream I like doing like GitHub repositories because it's always fun. I think they're very helpful, and for you to like find all of the information in like a single page. So over here, once I start coding the project, I will be uploading all of the files in here, and you will actually be able to access them. Then over here, you basically have like an overview of the session, and then over here you can find like the slides and some other helpful links. The YouTube recording links, I will be basically upload them here by the end of the stream, perhaps tomorrow when I have a bit more of free time. Yes, and then the description and so on, and the slides are in here as well in case you want to review them. Great, so let's start with the first thing that we're going to do, which is just basically visualizing the Moondream API. So they actually changed their UI very recently. So I actually been using Moondream since last year, and I have to tell you, it has improved like exponentially. Like the amount of time that the developers have invested into this project is just like amazing. And the most amazing part for me is that when you actually like talk to them in their Discord server, they respond to you. Like I have had like some issues with Moondream or like some questions about how their API works, and they respond like super fast, and like they are like so experienced. So if you ever want to engage with the community, you can join their Discord server as well, which is like on this same web page, in case you want more complex projects to build. So yes, this is just their page, and in here they have like their whole examples of what they basically do, like some case scenarios like object detection, pointing at some defects on the train tracks, gaze detection, and then document understanding as well. And the coolest part is that it is completely free. So that's just like cooler. And here's the Discord in case you want to join in as well. Great. So let's actually see like some examples of how it actually works. I'm going to make this bigger. So over here, if I select like an image, and I can actually like detect objects. So like for example, detect. I can detect like avocado. And there we go. We get the bounding box for the avocado. And then let's say if we want a query, so where is the avocado? On the left side of the cutting board, and that is super accurate. Well, not like super accurate, but it's just like a nice glimpse of it. Then, for example, this one is the worker wearing safety glasses. Yes, the worker is wearing safety glasses while operating the machinery. Then, for example, over here, you can also point at things like, for example, license plate. And we have a point over here where the license plate is. So as you can see, there are a lot of things that you can actually do. You can either generate a query, you can also generate a caption, you can point at something, or you can detect like objects on the image. So just by writing like a single prompt over here. So our goal here today is to learn how to use their API and also build a nice dashboard that basically implements all of these functionalities so we can have it hosted into our own Streamlit site. So first, to get started, let's actually see the usage of how, oh, well, they're not, they don't have the documentation here. So let's just see the quick start. There we go. So here is basically the code, and we can actually like just get started with this code. So yeah, so let's get started with this one. Let me just open a new VS Code tab over here to get started, and let me make this bigger. So I will be basically cloning the GitHub repository that I gave you. So create an account. Yes, we will be needing a Moondream account in a while in order to generate our API key. You can go ahead and do it right now, but I will also be doing and pointing that as well in a few seconds once I start setting up the project. But yes, you will be needing a Moondream account. So for this, let's actually go into, I want to see if there's like the documentation for, oh, there is Python documentation. So I will share this direct link with you so you can actually see like the quick start. And first, to get started, we need to install the Moondream model. Let me just clone my own GitHub repository. Just give me a second for me to do that. There's no need for you to clone my repository, because then I would recommend for you to create your own GitHub repository, as we will be needing that at the end of the stream in case you want to deploy your application. I mean, it's not mandatory, but I will highly recommend it in case you want to deploy your application. So I'm just basically cloning my own repository, so you can actually see the code in the link that I shared with you all. Great. So let's get started with the quick start code that was over there. So let me just create a new file, and I'm going to call it test .py. Great. And then over here, before I actually get started, I'm going to create a new terminal. And on my terminal, we will need to install the Moondream module. So the Moondream module is just as simple as running pip install Moondream. So I will go ahead and run that pip install Moondream. And don't worry, I already have this installed, so it will look like it is already installed, but I am doing that as well. Awesome. Oh, wait, let me actually create a bit virtual environment. Yes, I will zoom in. Just give me a second. There it is. I think that's better. I hope it's better. Because I think that's all I can zoom in, because then it will like crash the whole screen. Yes, no worries. Great. So I will give you a moment for you to run the pip install Moondream command over here in order for us to get started. Let me just go. I'm waiting for it to create my virtual environment, and I think I already installed Moondream on my computer, but I want to have it like on the environment. There it is. Now it is activated. So I will go back to the Moondream documentation, and let's actually go over here. I will zoom this in as well. So we already did that. We already installed Moondream. Then we can actually copy paste this code and try to test it to see how it actually works. So let us go ahead, and I will copy this code, and let me actually share this link with you as well. And I will explain it once we are on the VS Code. So I will just copy paste this code over here, and I'm going to paste it over here. Let me make this smaller, and let's go all the way up. Great. Let me create a new terminal. There it is. So over here, there are two ways of actually interfacing with Moondream. This is actually super recently. I think it was just updated like a few weeks ago. So now you can actually either interact with Moondream using an API key or running like a local server. We are not going to be running our local server, as perhaps that might be not very computer efficient for a lot of computers. So we are basically just going to use their API key, and I'm going to tell you how to generate that in a second. So we can go ahead and delete this line, and now we're only left with the different methods that we can actually use. So let me install Moondream now. Yeah, I am installing it again because I created a virtual environment, so I need to install it on that virtual environment over there. Why is this open? Oh, awesome. Great. So now to actually get our API key, we're going to go back into the Moondream documentation. So over here, and let's go into API keys. And before you actually click on API keys, or if you click on API keys, you will see that you actually need to create an account in order to generate your API key. So I'm actually logged in right now with my account, but I will give you like about 2 minutes in order for you to create an account in Moondream so you can be in this same dashboard as well. I will share that link with you as well in case you want the direct link over there. So I will give you about 2 minutes for you to do that over there. Just some moments. Great. So please let me know when you are already on this same screen, so I can know when we can actually move forward with that. Do, do, do. Just giving some time for everyone to be ready. Oh, let's see. So done. Good to go. Great. So some hackers are already finishing up that. So great. So to generate a new API key, you're just going to click on create API key, and then you're going to copy and paste this. So once you close this window, you won't be able to access it again. But don't worry, you can always generate a new one and delete like the old ones. So just go ahead and copy paste this one and click on I've saved my API key. And once you copy paste it, we're going to go back into our code and you're going to paste it over here. Great. So later on, we will be storing this key in a secure location. So when we actually publish our application, the key is not leaked on our GitHub repository. So now the next thing that we need to do is to actually like search for an image that we want to use in order to test out. So let's go into our browser and I don't know, let's look for images about otters and dogs. Hmm. Let's see. Oh, I want something kind of like descriptive, but I don't think this is a good example. Perhaps this one. Let's see if this one is actually good enough. Mm, let me. Oh, no. I'm going to save image as, and I'm going to place it as otter and dog. Great. So then I'll go back to my VS Code, and now I can actually upload this image. So let me just drag and drop it in there. So here it is. Oh, I think the image is not like... What? It was downloaded in like a weird format. I think we're having bad luck with the others today. Mm, well, we will try something else. Kitchen table. Oof, this is this one. Wow, I think my internet it's very very laggy because it's taking really long time to load like an image. Um, why is it taking so long? I'm genuinely concerned. Let's see. I don't know. Mm, well, I guess the images. I don't know why they're not working. I will just use one that I've downloaded recently, which is this one. It's of some puppies. Yes. So I will just use that image that I already have, so we don't lose time while I look for an image. Oh, I think it actually loaded. So let me save this as well. There we go. So now let's go back and load the correct image. So table. There we go. So now on the code, I can actually paste in here the path to my image. Four soccer players in white and black uniforms with gold medals celebrating on a green field holding a large trophy. I got this response with a Real Madrid players. Ah, that's nice. That's nice. Well, now I will try to run my code now with the table of the image. What is this image? The image shows a cozy corner. Oh, the image shows a cozy corner of a room featuring a wooden dining table with a light brown finish. Wow, this is like super super extensive. You can actually pass on like how large you want, like your description. Yeah, I think it's is it in here? Yeah, in here you can actually tell it like um where is it? Length and then equal to short. So let's try running it again to see if it is like the last response is actually like shorter. So this is the caption and then this is the question. A wooden dining table with four light green chairs and a vase of purple flowers is set against a white a wall and light brown wood floor. Let's see the image. Yeah, so that's actually accurate. I mean, this is kind of like lavender and it is purple, so that is accurate. And then we have like the white wall and then like the wooden floor. So it's I would say it's kind of like a specific over there. Great. So now that we have like these methods over here, there are more things that we can actually try on. So for example, if we go back over here into the documentation, we can also, where is it? We can also detect like a specific objects. So let's go ahead and copy paste this one and I'm going to paste it over here. So detect output and we want to detect flowers. Now let's go ahead and run this. Wow, why does it look so terrible? Yes, so it actually detected the objects and it gave me like the coordinates to where the object is actually located. So this basically means that it was able to successfully locate an object over there. Awesome. So I think we've tried most some of the cool capabilities that Moondream has. So I will actually go ahead and post this code. Let me just delete the OpenAI key. I'm sorry, the Moondream API key. So let me post this and I will delete this. Where is it? Delete. And let me post this over here. So testing Moondream API. Let me close all of these. My screen is like super big right now. Oh, my VS Code beds. I've missed them. There it is. Awesome. So now on the GitHub repository, you should be able to see the code that I am using right now. So over here, you should be able to see the code. Let me just refresh this. So over here, you should be able to access the script that I was testing, which is test.py. And then in here, I also uploaded the image in case you want to try on with it with that image, but you can also upload like more images as you wish. Great. So now let's get started with the next things that is basically going to be building our Moondream library wrapper. So to do that, over here, there's nothing more than just basically converting this into a Python class. So to do that, I'm going to create a new file and I'm going to call it Moondream Leaf because it's basically going to be a library where we will be placing all of our, like all of the necessary classes that we will be needing today. So again, we will be basically needing these same imports. So I'm just going to copy paste them and paste them over here. And for that, we're going to build a class that's going to be called Moondream Helper or Moondream Leaf or whatever you want to call your library. So it's going to be called Moondream Helper. And then, of course, we need kind of like the no, Copilot is not. Ooh, should I stick with this? No, because we're going to need some customization for the object detection, because we actually want to detect how many objects we've detected so far. So I will not use Copilot for this. I mean, it's very helpful sometimes, but as we want to learn from scratch, I will not be using that tool today. So the first thing that we need to build is our initializer class. And how do we do that in Python? Well, as Copilot already previously stated, we need to create our init class. And inside our init class, we're going to pass on some parameters that we are going to be needing. So the first one is itself, and then we need to pass on an API key. So API key equals to none. And then inside that, we're going to actually initialize our Moondream instantiation using an API key. So to do that, we can actually base ourselves in this code, which is just basically this over here. So I'm just going to paste that over here, which is the model, and then passing on the API key. But I'm going to be adding self in here because we want to initiate it once we call it. So over there, I'm just basically, I will be basically passing on the API key, which is our parameter over here. And this, the only thing that it will do is to initialize our Moondream model. So initialize, init Moondream model. There we go. That's all there is to know. And I think I will better write that as a comment. There we go. Then the second function that we are going to create, it's the description one. So we can call it describe. And then for the describe, we also want to pass on itself. And then we need to pass on the image. And then keep in mind that the image needs to be either an image and also a string, depending on which format the image is in. So for that, I'm going to use an onion. And for the onion, we're just basically going to pass on an image. And keep in mind that the image object is basically coming from this library that it's for images. So image dot image, and we want to pass it on as a string over there. Then some other things that we can add to the description method as query parameters. If we go over here for the caption, we see that the caption has several parameters. It has the image, then it has a length that can either be normal, short, or long. It also has the streaming, and it also has like some sampling settings over there. And if we see over here, the image is passed on as this format. So that's why I place this union and then image. And then the string will be basically encoded image, which is just basically a string, which is passed on as a string. Then in here, it also tells me like the different things that I want to use. So now that we have the image over here, I also want to pass on how detailed I want my description. And as a default, I will say that I want the description to be normal. But keep in mind that it can also be short and long, and we will also let the user select that in there as well. Then this will be nothing more than returning a string, because we will be basically returning our result there. So for the description, we can go ahead and directly copy paste this one over here. So ask a question. Oh wait, no, that one is the one for querying. It is actually this one, the caption one. Great. So the first thing that we need to do is to actually load our image. So it will be image equal to self dot, and then we want to load image. And then over here, we will be passing on the image parameter that we set over here that we have. Then once we have the image, we can actually use now the code that I copy pasted, which is basically our caption. And instead of passing on in here this, I need to write self, because we are referring to our class. And instead of passing in the parameters of our caption, we're going to pass on the image that we already encoded over here. And then we will also be passing the length. And the length will be basically how detailed we want the image to be. So by default, the description will be normal, of normal length, but it can also be short or it can also be long, depending on what the user basically wants. And then we are going to return the caption, and that will be of type caption. There we go. So we have our second method over here. And what else can we do? So we can also add the query one, which is this one, ask a question. So let's go ahead and do that. And this will basically follow on this same structure. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy paste this one. So let me just copy paste this one. But instead of leaving the detail in here, I want this to be the question that I'm actually going to be answering it. And I don't want to have any default value. I'm just going to tell it that it's going to be a string. So this one will be to generate a description. And this one will be to query the image. There we go. And then we need to do some small modifications over here. So we want to load the image. So this will be correct. But then in here, I want this to be our query. And this will be called query. And then instead of generating caption, if we go over here to the base that we had, it's called query. So I want to pass on these. So this will be called query instead of caption because we want to query the image. So query. Then we're going to pass on the image and also the question that we want to get an answer to. So question. And instead in here, we're going to change this to query. And over here, it's going to be called answer. There we go. I think we need to add an import for the union. So let's see, union is not defined. Add from typing import union. There we go. So I added one more import over here because I was getting an import error from this thing over here that it's needed. Great. So I think we are good to go with these basic examples. So I will leave the object finding at the end because that one is a bit longer to actually code the method. Yes. So to continue now, I'm basically going to be building the Streamlit application so you can actually display this into your own dashboard. So to do that, we need to install some things first. So basically, to get started with Streamlit, Streamlit is basically a Python library that will allow us to create like a how do you call this? Like the front end for our Python methods that we have over here. And don't worry if you've never used this library before. It's super simple to get started, and I will show you everything that you need to know or all of the simple things. And I will do it just like step by step so you can actually see your page live. So before I do anything, I'm going to post this code on the GitHub repository so you can have it. So created to methods on the Moondream class. So you can actually see this code on the GitHub in case you want to add it into your own project. Great. So I'm going to create a new file that it's going to call app.py. And basically on this file, we're going to be adding all of the necessary front-end things for our application. So the first thing that we're going to do is to import Streamlit as st, and I will need to install Streamlit. So in order to install Streamlit on your terminal, you're going to run, oh, this is so bad, pip install Streamlit. And I will also share this command with you as well. There it is. Great. So remember that you need to install Streamlit before we actually get started. I think it will take a while, so I'll just leave it there installing while I'm actually writing the code necessary. And you can also be doing that as well. So the first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to define some initial page configuration. So some initial page configuration for style. So to do this, we're going to call the Streamlit instance, which is st, and then we're going to do set, and then page config. Oh, I actually hate that it's not installed right now because then sometimes I forget the parameters that are on each function. So the first thing that we want for our app is a title. So this is called page title. And we're going to call this Moondream dashboard. Then we also want to add a page icon so it looks very cute, page icon. And in here, you can literally pass on like an emoji and it will actually work. So let's choose an emoji that will be like the moon. Great. Awesome. So it actually installed right now. So now we can go ahead and continue with this. So can I have some check on the chats? So once you've installed Streamlit, please let me know when you have installed Streamlit successfully and you have that code in your code editor, so we can move on. And I will give you some moments for you to tell me. Okay. If you're also having any issues while installing Streamlit, you only have to run like pap install Streamlit, and then you should be good to go. Yeah, so please let me know when you've run this command in your terminal and it has successfully installed, just so I know if we are good enough to continue in there. I will give one more minute. I should have brought some water with me because now my throat is hurting for speaking for so long. I'm late, so can you mention GitHub repo? I clone it and then follow along. Yes, so you can access the GitHub repository, and there's no need for you to clone it. You can just basically copy paste the code that it's on my repository and create your code repository. So then you can actually then deploy that application from your own GitHub repository. Great. So I think I will be continuing, and you can follow along as well. I will also be uploading this code on the GitHub in case you are running a bit late. So the first thing that we're going to do is to actually see how Streamlit works. So I'm just going to type in a title on my page. So to do that, I can just do title and then like type in on the strings like hello. This is a title. And then to run our Streamlit application, it's super simple. We are going to run this command, Streamlit run, and then the name of your script. So in my case, the name of my script, it's called app.py. Then let's just give it a moment for it to load, and it will basically open a new browser tab with the application, which will be running locally. So let me show you that. It is over here. And as I mentioned, this is our the application that we were basically coding that says, hello, this is a title. And over here, we have Moondream dashboard, and it has the icon that we actually selected. So now that we know that everything's working properly, I will go into the code that we had previously. Great. So to do that, what we're going to do next, let me make this smaller. Awesome. So first, what we need to do is to initialize the Moondream library, which is basically this one that we have over here, that it is our class. So to do that, we're going to use a tool in Streamlit that it's just basically a cache response or cache resource, which is this one. And we're basically going to create a function in here that is going to be called get moondream. Why? Because we actually want to initialize over here giving our own API key. So we're going to write an if to check if we have moondream. No, I don't want to do this. I'm going to make it simpler. So I'm just going to return in here my moondream helper class that's called moondream helper. And I actually need to import this. From moondream leave, import moondream helper. There we go. So now we have moondream leave over here, which is basically this file, and then I'm importing the moondream helper. And if we remember, the moondream helper has a parameter, which is basically our API key. So we will be passing on our API key. And I'm not going to copy paste it right now because I'm going to show you how to store your API key in a more a professional manner in a second. So all that we're going to do this in here is to initialize our moondream class, which we already declared over here, and we already imported this over here. So the next thing that we need to do is to actually run this, and we're going to create a variable or like an object from moondream that is going to call our get moondream method. There we go. So this is all we need in order to get started and get moondream running into our Python code from the moondream class that we previously coded. And now what we need to do is to actually start doing our sidebar, where we will have like all of the different sections that we can select and navigate from. So sidebar and nav. So to do a sidebar navigation panel on Streamlit, it's super simple. All you have to do is st, then sidebar, and then dot title, because we want to place a title on our sidebar. And we're basically going to place in here Moondream Vision API. And I'm going to add an emoji as well. So Moondream Vision API. Then what's going to be next is that I'm going to add the different pages that we will have on our application. So we want to create like different pages on our dashboard. So for example, we want a page for image description, then we need another page to ask questions, and so on. Do we need to code with you? If you want to have the dashboard, yes. So if you want to actually publish the project, then you might want to follow along with this code as well. And yes, remember that I've shared the GitHub repository with you, so you can actually just look at the code over there and paste it into your in your coding environment of your choice in case you've joined recently. So on the sidebar, I'm also going to add like the different pages that we're going to have. So I'm going to create a variable called page to know which page I'm actually selecting. And then I'm going to click on Streamlit.sidebar, and then I'm going to add a radio button. So this is a radio button, so we can actually select from the different pages that we can navigate through. And I'm going to ask here, select the page you want to visit. And then as options, I'm basically going to pass on the different pages that we have. So for now, we just have two functions. So the first one is to describe image. And then the second page that we might have is to caption image. So caption image. There we go. So describe image and then caption image. And that's all we need to have our different page selection on the sidebar. And let's actually run this to see how it looks like once it's up and running. So I will go into the page that was opened previously and I will refresh this over here. Awesome. So now on my sidebar, and let me make this bigger. We have the Moondream Vision API, which is basically the title, and then it says select the page you want to visit. So in here, I can actually select from these two options because I only have like two options for now. Awesome. So once I have that, then I'll go ahead and where is it? There we go. So I'm going to continue with the now actually creating our first page. So our first page will be the one for describing, for describing an image. So let's actually go ahead and do that, that function. So we want to check if the page that it's selected is describe image. Then what we're going to do is that I'm going to place a title on my page, and that title will be called describe image. And then I might want to add an emoji over here. This one's fair enough. So describe image, and then I also want to add some text. So extremely.write, and then I'm basically going to tell the user to upload an image to get an automatic description of it. Great. Then we can actually go ahead and test this. So let me go back. And let me refresh this. Great. So now once I select the describe image, I'm actually getting what I was actually typing. And if I click on here, then it disappears. Awesome. So let me actually publish this into GitHub. So added one page. So you can actually see the same code that I'm typing over there. Awesome. So before we continue coding inside this describe image page, we actually need to create a helper function, which will be for the image uploading. So we actually want the user to upload the image from their files and upload it into our application. So to do that, let's create an image that is going to call upload image. And then over here, we need to create a variable that will be called uploaded file or uploaded image. And we're going to pass on this function from Streamlit that is basically called st and then file uploader. And inside the file uploader, we're going to tell the user upload an image. And then we want the file to be of type, what do you like? The different types of images. So we can have GPG. We can also have PNG. And we can also have GPEG. Great. And then to let it know that we want it to be a unique key per page, because then if we have multiple files, then it will get confused. So the key, it's basically just any text that you want it to be. So this will be page 1, for example. Oh, well, this will be equal to page. There we go. We have a question over here. I am getting this model. Moondream has no attribute BL. So I was actually getting that error a while back, and probably, where is it? Where is the BL one? So what I would recommend on that case, and that also happened to me a while back, I will try to uninstall the Moondream module. So try running pip uninstall Moondream and then install it again to see if that actually solves the error. Because yes, BL it's actually part of the Moondream library, so you actually need that to make it work. Awesome. So let's go back to our uploaded image helper function. So now once we're in there, once we have our uploaded file, we want to check if we have an uploaded, oh no, an uploaded file. And if we have an uploaded file, then what I'm going to be doing is that I'm basically going to be opening that image. So image equal to image dot open, and then I'm going to open the uploaded file. And then that image, I want to actually visualize it on the screen as well, so the user can also see the image. So to see the image on your Streamlit dashboard, you're going to type st.image, and then you're going to pass on the image that you just uploaded. And then you can also add like a caption or whatever. I don't know, caption. This is the image you uploaded, and we're also going to tell it to use container, well, column width to be true, because we want the image to be like cover like all of the column or like width that it has. And then after that, we're basically going to be returning the image. And outside this, we want to return none. And we need to import the image from KThinker. I don't know if this one's the one we're looking for. I think we're looking for the pill one. So from pill, import image. There we go. So with this function, we should be able to actually upload images in our dashboard, and then we can actually start running this one. Okay, no problem. So were you able to get it running after the uninstall and installing it again? Just a question, so I know if that worked. Because I remember having the same issue, and it definitely didn't make sense because I was installing the library correctly. So I just did that, and it worked for me. Great. So now that we have our helper function for uploading images, we can actually upload our image here. So we're going to use that method, and we're going to store the image over there. So image equal to upload image, because we're calling the method that we just created. And then if we have an image uploaded, then we're going to ask for some things. So we're going to ask the user to tell us how long they want the description of the image to be. So to do that, we're going to use a radio button, and we're going to ask the user like select the description detail. And then we're going to pass on the different options that Moondream has, and the different options that Moondream has is either short, it can also be normal, and it can also be long. So the user will be able to actually select which how much detail they want in their image. And this is just so it doesn't wait, the horizontal needs to be inside here. So we can align the buttons horizontally, and they don't look weird. Awesome. And we want to place this on the lower end. So I'm just going to pass on the lower thing over here. Return a copy of the string converted to lowercase, so we can actually pass that on into our function. So after gathering how much detail we want the user to actually request, we're going to create a button. So to create the button, we're just going to do st button, and then we're going to call that button generate a description. And if the button is pressed, then I will display like a spinner, so it looks like it is actually like loading. So st.spinner, and then we're going to call this analyzing image dot dot dot. So with spinner, and then we're going to call our function. So the description, we're going to store it in this variable, and then we're going to call our Moondream class. And the Moondream, this is the Moondream object that we're calling, and then we're going to call the function that is described. And then if we remember, the parameters that this method has is image and detail. So we're going to pass on the image that the user uploaded, and then we're going to pass on how much detail the image will have. And then finally, we're going to display a success message, which will be description generated. And then we're basically going to print our description on the screen. So st.write and then description. There we go. And that will be basically valid for the describe image page, and we should get this functionality working. So let me actually push this into the GitHub. So added describe image function in page. I will just give it a while. There we go. So the last thing that we need to do before actually testing this out is that we are missing to actually pass on our API key. So to pass on our API key on Streamlit, we are going to need some configuration files. So we need to create a new folder, and that new folder over here needs to be called .streamlit. So .streamlit, and then inside over here, we're going to create a new file that is going to be called secrets.toml. And then inside that file, we're going to create our environment variable, which will be called Moondream API key. And then over here, I'm going to basically paste my API key that I had earlier. So let me just grab these over here and paste it. Great. There we go. So now to actually call that API key or that environment variable in my application, I will need to call it from my secrets file. So to do that, I'm going to do st.secrets, and then I'm going to pass on in here the name of the variable or the environment variable that I'm using, which is basically Moondream API key. And with this, I should be able to access that environment variable that is stored on my secrets file. Awesome. So let's actually see the page to see if it is working now. Great. So now in the describe image, we can actually upload an image. Let's see, browse files. I'm going to pass on the puppy image. And now we're seeing the puppy image over here and the caption. This is the image you uploaded. And then we can actually select how long we want the description to be. So I'm going to select short and then click on generate description. Moondream helper object has no attribute load image. Let us actually go into the code to see where that load image is displayed. So let's see. Moondream live. Where is the load? Oh, is it this one? Function has no attribute. Oh, so perhaps we only need to pass it on as an image. I think that's what we basically need to do, or we need to import fill image. We also need to import the typing one over there as well. So I think that is actually correct. That's why it's weird. Um, Let me see if I can try searching this online. Load image, and then we're passing on our image. Let's see. Object has no attribute. Load image. Let me search that online to see if we have some success into finding the error there. No, we actually have that one in there. That's very, very weird. Mm, oh, I think why we actually never defined. Yeah, we never defined that load image function. We need to create it ourselves. I thought it was like defined. Well, don't worry. Let's just create a new function that will be called load image, which will be basically opening our image and uploading it into the Moondream application that we have over here. Yeah, I thought that was already created, but it wasn't. Oh, look, you can actually ask ChatGPT to solve it. Let's see. Oh, this is nice. It is actually telling me what to do. I mean, it's not so specific because we don't actually need this. This looks promising. This looks like it will help because it opens the image on the image path. Yeah, let's try doing that. Let's see and paste this in here. Load image. We're passing the same image, then the image. Oh, but this one's needs to be the union. So let's pass on this. Instead of image path, I want to pass on the image over here. What else? What else? Return image, open image. Yeah, that should do. Let's see if that works. Let me close this ChatGPT window and this browser window and refresh our application. Oh my god, we're actually running a little bit late in time. I will need to hurry up. Browse files, puppy, open, and then generate description. Was it not called like that? It is actually. Oh, I think we didn't do the self thing over there. We actually need to do the load image and then pass on the self image and return. We're actually doing that. Well, we need to check if it's an instance of the class. And then we actually need to pass on in there the image and then the string. And in that case, we will be returning the image.open and then what we need. That should do. Let's see if this actually solves the error. Let me upload this. I think we will only have time to do like the caption and the description, and then I will need to upload the rest of the code for you on the repository later on. Let's see, puppies, generate description. Oh my god, is it still stuck in there? I cannot believe this. Let's see. So we are actually returning. Might be if instance. We want to return the open. But we're not returning anything in here, are we? So we need to return. Uh, this should be inside the if. Oh, tab. There we go. Okay, if this doesn't work, then I have no idea what's happening. Let's continue and let me try to refresh the page again. Browse files. Let's see if we can generate the description for the puppy image. Oh my god. No. Okay, let's try to see the facts. I always like to talk once I have a mistake. So let's see. So we have our load image over here that basically receives an image. So in there we are completely right. So we are loading an image. It receives self, then image, and then we have the union that receives the image dot image. I don't think we need this. I don't think we need that. And that's all in there. And then we are basically passing on. Oh, we need to tell it that we want to return that. I think that was correct. String. And then we want to point that this will be basically returning the image instead of a string. Where is the alligator? So we are basically going to be returning image dot image. There it is. Okay, this looks solid. Then if this is an instance of the same class, I'm passing on the image. And then I'm also passing on the encoded image, which is inside the string. And then I'm returning, or basically just like opening the image. And finally, returning image. What seems correct. Not very sure if that would change anything, but it might worth a try. Let's try for the fourth time to see this. Come on, happy puppies. Oh my god, no, it's not working. Um, um, okay, I need some Copilot help. Copilot, we need your help. So let's open a new open Copilot chat and pass on the error over here. Yeah, because we have like 20 minutes left and I was not able to solve this. So let's see if Copilot actually gets it. Because what? Indentation issue as a private method. Check indentation. Verify you're creating an instance of Moondream Helper. Yes, I mean, we're actually doing that. We're creating our Moondream Helper over here. That is correct. It said the error attribute Moondream Helper object has not included load image occurs because the load image method is defined as a private method. But I mean, then if I don't have it as a private method, won't it work? That it's even weirder over there. Huh. Ensure the load image method is properly indented as part of the Moondream Helper class. I mean, it's properly identated inside the Moondream class. If you made changes to the file, ensure that the updated file is properly reloaded in your environment. Check indentation error. The code your paragraph appears correctly indented, so that's likely not the issue. Reload the file. If you're running this in an interactive environment, I might want. Okay, let me try like shutting down the Streamlit app and running it again. but I don't think that will be the issue. Let's just try it. Browse files, copy. Should it be that this is like a uppercase GPG file? No, I don't think so. What? I literally just refreshed the page and it worked. That's crazy. I mean, on my defense, Copilot actually told me that the code was correct. Just basically told me to reload the file and that was it. I should have tried that before. Okay, well, let me just publish the update so you can have that. And before, let me actually add the secrets into the git ignore. So dot streamlit slash secrets dot toml. There it is. So edit fixed missing class. There it is. Can we use Moondream in a Next.js project? I think on the documentation there were like the different languages that you can actually use, so you can try on with those as well. Okay, so let's just super fast. Let's just use the other method that we are actually missing, which is the one to ask a query. So that one is actually much faster because we can just basically copy paste the one that we basically had before. So on our app here, let's just add the second one, which will be if elif. So elif, and then the page is equal to caption describe image, caption image. Then I will be basically doing the same structure. So I will be placing a title that will be called ask questions, and then also as a text that says like ask questions to the image. Query the image as you like. Okay, and what? And then I'm basically going to be doing the same logic that I did here. So I'm going to be copy pasting, well, not copy pasting, just typing the image again, image equals to upload image. And then I'm going to be checking if I have an image uploaded, if image. And then I basically want to store my question. So this will be like a text input. So st.text input. And then I'm going to actually say like ask something about the image. And then as a placeholder in there, I'm going to add like just a question like how many objects are on the image. There we go. And then if we actually have a question in our text input and the button it's pressed, so if st button the button is called get answer, then I will be go ahead and start generating our response. So again, we're going to use a spinner. So with st.spinner, with st.spinner, and then we're going to say thinking, and then I forgot to paste this. There we go. And then inside here, I'm going to create my answer variable where it will be stored, and I'm going to call my Moondream object again, and then do Moondream dot and then query, which is this one over here. And then I'm going to pass on the image, and then I'm also going to pass on the question that the user asks as well. Finally, we're going to display a success message that says answer generated. And then we're going to print our answer, st.write, and then we'll have answer over here. Great. So that should be it for that. Let me just delete this title. We're not going to be needing this. And let's refresh the application to see if it's working. Oh, what happened here? I will kill this and then, okay, let me create a new terminal. So it's Streamlit run. No, it's called app.py. Oop, I think it opened in another tab. There we go. So let's open this, and now it will change as questions, describe image. So let's try the ask questions one. Let's upload our table image. Oh. And then let's ask a question like, I don't know, how many chairs are there? Let's get the answer. There are 4 chairs in the image. And then what color is the plant of the image? Good answer. The plant of the image is brown. I think it got it incorrect. The plant. Good answer. The plant in the image is purple. And yes, it is purple. Awesome. So now we have a kind of like complete project in here because we have the description image and we also have the captioning image over here. I think we don't have enough time to do the object detection and the pointing part, but we did have time to actually test it into our local environment, which is over here. So in a few, I think in about an hour, I will be completing this code and uploading it into the Discord server as well. You can also into the GitHub repository as well. Oh my God, I think I'm tired now. And you should be able to see it in a few hours up and running. So for now, I will take the 10 minutes that I have left so we can actually deploy this application so you can actually see it up and running. So to deploy it, I'm going to need to create a requirements file for all my Python dependencies. And the dependencies that I have is Moondream. Then we also have, what else? I think we will also need, I think we only need we need only the requirements. So let me just upload this, add the requirements, and I will start deploying my application. So if I run this, my app again, because I want to show you something, you will see in here on the upper right corner that it says deploy. So I'm going to click in there on deploy, and then I'm going to say that I want to deploy it on the Streamlit Community Cloud. So deploy now. Just give it a moment. Then I have to sign in. And I want to sign in with GitHub. Okay. And now I just have to click literally on deploy. It actually selected the repository that I'm using right now, which is Moondream API Global Hack Week, and it identified the main file path, which is app.py. And then I can optionally add like a URL, which is kind of like the domain name, and I'm going to call it Moondream API. Well, Moondream dashboard. Why not? Moondream dashboard. And then on advanced settings, we're going to add our API key. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy paste my API key. Let me just look for it. So I will paste it over in here, Moondream API key, and I'm going to click on save. And then I'm going to click on deploy and hoping that it will deploy correctly with no errors. So on the console, we can actually see the status of our application in case we have any errors or any issues while deploying it. They should all appear on this dashboard over there. Awesome. So now we have our hosted site, and let's try uploading an image to see if it's actually working. So I will upload the puppy one. There it is. And then I'm going to generate a normal description. Generate description, and there it is. So the image shows three golden retriever puppies sitting on a wooden bench. The puppy on the left is sitting upright with its tongue hanging out. Aw, that's very nice. This makes me happy. It's very cute. Great. So now I can actually share this app with you all, and you can actually test it out as well. Awesome. So on the GitHub repository that I created, I'm going to be adding that link as well. So over here, let me add that link in there. So you can visit it like whenever you want. And as I mentioned, let's do this. So I know we are missing to implement like the two method classes that we created over here on the test file. So we are missing to implement the object detection over here, but which is this one. But if someone wants to actually do that, what you can all do is that on my repository, you can actually create a new branch. You can post that code on my repository and then make a pull request, and I can accept that, and then you will appear on my repository as a contributor. So in case you have some free time and you want to contribute to the dashboard that you were building today, I will be reviewing your pull requests in case you want to add the missing method. If by tomorrow I don't see any pull requests, then I will just be uploading the code myself. So you can actually see the uploaded dashboard over here, as well as the recording on the links over there. Great. So as a wrap up over here, thank you so much for joining, and I will be sharing this feedback form with you all. So you can just basically tell us how we did during the stream, if you liked something, if you would like to improve something, or have some recommendations for some other sessions. I will very much appreciate your feedback. And it can also be like feedback that you have in Global Hack Week in general, not just like towards my specific stream, but in case you have like a general recommendation to Global Hack Week, then you can also let us know on that link on the chat as well. So thank you very much. And as a wrap up, again, if you want to implement the object detection class on the dashboard that you were building, I'm going to be reviewing pull requests on this same repository, and I will be merging them by tomorrow. If I don't see any contribution by tomorrow, then I will be doing the code myself and uploading the repository as well, so you can actually see the finished project posted on Streamlit. So thank you very much. I really enjoyed a lot this session. I will not be having more streams for today, but I will have one tomorrow, which will be the part 2 on creating your own API and deploying it on ngrok. So if you assisted to the part 1, make sure to tune in for the part 2 that will be basically happening on tomorrow. So that will be all from my side. Have a good night, a good morning, or even a good afternoon. For me, it's night, so I will just finish some homework and then go to sleep. So yes, bye everyone.